Buckle up for AEC Trailblazers, the Founders Files, where we crack open the stories of the brightest minds in the AEC startup scene. Forget institutional pitches. We're diving deep into the real personal journeys of these industry disruptors. Get ready for some casual chats firsthand.
Hello, and welcome everybody to the Trailblazers podcast, where we interview the most amazing minds of the AEC. In this week's episode, it's going to be a little bit different from what we have been doing in the past episodes. Let me speak first about young Valentin. I started studying architecture around 20 years ago, and I remember the first year when I was in college, our teachers, architects, they didn't want to us as students to use the computer. So I had to wait until it was the second year when professors allowed us to use AutoCAD. And when I started using AutoCAD, for me, it was amazing. This is such a great product. I already knew that doing everything by hand was so slow, so inefficient. So when I started using AutoCAD, for me, it was like a drug. It's like I would never be able to go back to do things by hand. And I'm such a geek, and I always love to know who did what. So when I started using AutoCAD, I was like, who the hell created this amazing tool? And that's how it was my first encounter with learning about John Walker. And I was also surprised when I learned that the software was created 20 years before I started using it. So for me, it was like, what? Someone was able to create this 20 years ago when people there were not even computers on every house. So for me, that was the start of a journey when I started learning and following John, which is why today we're going to speak about him. Unfortunately, John is not with us anymore. He passed away on February this year. So I feel it's a really good moment to speak about his life and to give a little bit of background on what he did, how he started AutoCAD, how he started Autodesk, which is an amazing company. So for me, it's a really special episode because it's one of the heroes that I started following when I started working with technology on the AC. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed when I was studying and reading about John all these years. So let's get going. John Walker, like I mentioned, was the founder of Autodesk and the father of AutoCAD. He is not only the creator of this company and product, but has a fascinating biography filled with both impressive business achievements and also unique personal stories. So, could you imagine our careers without John Walker and AutoCAD for a second? I've seen so many pictures over the internet where there's these huge blueprints and people is drawing by hand, not only buildings, but even cities. So it would be crazy. So in his early days, we are talking about the 1950s, this curious and bright-minded boy, John Walker, was born. He was destined to leave an indelible mark on the world of technology. As a young man attending the University of California, his fascination with computer science set him on a path that would revolutionize industries and empower creators across the globe. In his youth, Walker opted not to follow in his family's footsteps of becoming a medical doctor. Could you imagine the world if he has became a doctor and not the creator of AutoCAD? And instead, luckily, he decided to pursue a degree in astronomy before the new world of computers took hold of his interest and never looked back. I'm curious how much of the astronomy background impacted AutoCAD, but we might speak about that later. So in 1982, John, along with other 12 programmers, pulled $59,000 to give birth to Autodesk and began working on several computer applications. The first to be completed was AutoCAD, a software application for computer-aided design and drafting. This was more than just a company. It was a vision to make design tools accessible and affordable, leveraging the power of personal computers. Autodesk, under John's guidance, wasn't just participating in the software industry. It was poised to redefine it. And boy, he did it. After its foundation, John served on its board as the chairman and president until he stepped away from leadership roles in 1986, penning a memoir of his experiences titled The Autodesk File 3 years later. Since then, he lived mostly in Switzerland, working on programming for the company until 1994. Autodesk grew during those years to become one of the world's 10 largest software companies. I know, nowadays, there are so many other software companies that are larger than Autodesk, but it was a huge accomplishment by then. Also, Autodesk had to shutter its San Rafael, California location amidst the recession in the tech industry. But now has more than 20 offices and reported a total of $5.5 billion in revenue on the past fiscal year. So let's rewind to the pivotal moment when Autodesk was founded, launching AutoCAD. As I mentioned, the same year Autodesk sprang to life, it gave birth to AutoCAD, the company's flagship software. AutoCAD is a significant software in the field of computer-aided design. Its evolution over the decades showcases notable advancements in digital design tools. But that was not how John and team envisioned the company at the early beginning. Autodesk was merely one product, not the name of the company, and AutoCAD wasn't one of the main applications that we're working on. Let's hear it by John's own words in a 2008 interview by Kim Walmsley, sharing his blog through the interface when asking him, how did Autodesk became a CAD company?
The short answer is Comdex 1982. Up until that point, we were really focused on the product Autodesk, an office automation system for small computers. Only later did that become the name of the company. That was going to be the killer product. AutoCAD was kind of this. It was interesting because we were pretty sure we could get it to market quickly. It and AutoScreen, a screen-based text editor. We were pretty sure we could get those done for Comdex. It was a real push, but we could get it done. Autodesk was a lot more of an ambitious thing. We could show a prototype. In fact, we had a prototype, but getting the whole thing done would take a lot of work. Secondly, and this came back to bite us a few years later, AutoCAD was licensed from Mike Riddle, who was also a founder of the company. Unlike everyone else who joined the company, he did not contribute his software unencumbered. He had a royalty deal associated with it, and that royalty deal was given the price we envisioned for AutoCAD originally, so onerous that it was very low profit for us. Now, when you start out with $59,000, I think it was, and you're spending $1,000 or $2,000 a month, anything that got money to come in, even at a low profit margin, was attractive, because that would mean, since everyone was moonlighting, people could quit their jobs and start working full-time, which would drastically increase the amount of work we could get done.
The thing is, as John tells in this intimate interview, that they had initial skepticism. Him and the rest of founders initially doubted the market potential of CAD software due to its high cost. It was expensive hardware and limited user base. Architects compared to document writers. Remember, this was on the 80s, so having a computer was something not as common in houses or companies. The history keeps up in Comdex 82. Comdex stands for Computer Dealers Exhibition, a computer expo trade show that took place in Las Vegas. At the time, Autodesk showcased AutoCAD at the Comdex trade show. Despite their initial booth location, the software generated immense interest, with lines of people waiting for demos. I wish it could be that easy for anybody who has been at a conference. It is not common that your booth is the start of the conference. So I bet this was huge at the time. This was due to the timing. Other computer manufacturers were launching new machines compatible with IBM PC and desperately seeking killer apps to differentiate themselves. AutoCAD emerged as a perfect candidate. After this trade show, the company director shifted its focus. Following Comdex, the company was flooded with requests from hardware manufacturers to port AutoCAD to their machines and from potential dealers wanting to sell the software. This unexpected success led them to prioritize AutoCAD development over their other software project named Autodesk at the time. This focus on AutoCAD required an adaptation in the company's business model. The founders initially had a royalty agreement for the base AutoCAD product. However, they discovered a loophole. Additional features sold separately weren't subject to royalties. This incentivized them to rapidly develop and sell feature add-ons like the ADA package, AutoCAD Dimensioning Extension, significantly increasing profitability. So imagine if you bought Autodesk at the time, something as simple as adding dimensions to a drawing had to be done using an add-on, because otherwise they would have to pay a lot of money in royalty. So by 1985, the company was considering an initial public offering, or IPO. However, due to a recent market downturn affecting PC companies, they decided to position themselves as a CAD company, the first CAD company with a mass market. To appeal to investors who saw CAD as a glamorous and growing market, ironically, during their secondary offering in 1987, they shifted back to highlighting themselves as a PC software company due to the success of Microsoft. Like many entrepreneurial journeys, Autodesk's story is one of unexpected turns. Their initial doubt about AutoCAD was shattered by overwhelming market demand. This forced them to adapt their business model and messaging, showcasing their agility, which became a key ingredient in building one of the world's largest software companies. So if you're an entrepreneur and you think that the big whales out there like Autodesk, Trimble, or any other out there just had an easy ride, you can see here that it was not like that, and nothing was expected as planned. So let's now double down a bit on AutoCAD and its milestone over the decades. So in the 1980s, it was the foundation and early development. In 1982, AutoCAD was officially launched as a desktop application for microcomputers with internal graphic controllers. It was one of the first CAD programs accessible on IBM-compatible PCs, revolutionizing how drafting was performed, moving from manual to digital. On the late 1980s, AutoCAD's functionality expanded with the introduction of 3D modeling and the programming language AutoLisp, enhancing customization and automation capabilities. So for you, if you're a software developer and you have ever done an add-on using C# or .NET, remember that the previous language was and it was hard to do it. I even myself had to do one time, and I remember I was like, oh, this is so hard and so different from doing .NET. So you're lucky nowadays. So in the 1990s, there was an expansion of features and capabilities. In the early 90s, AutoCAD released versions that supported Windows, which significantly broadened its user base. This period marked the transition from the DOS to a more friendly Windows environment. To be honest, I don't even can imagine how it could have been to run AutoCAD on DOS, but luckily, the first time I tried, it was in Windows. So in 1994, the introduction of AutoCAD Release 13, the first support for Windows NT, boosting its usability in various professional settings. And in the late 1990s, AutoCAD emphasized internet integration features, aligning with the dot-com boom and facilitating collaboration across different locations. Then, on the 2000s, there was a consolidation and new dimensions for the product. In the 2000s, Autodesk introduced multiple industry-specific versions of AutoCAD to diversify fields such as civil engineering, electrical design, and mechanical engineering. 2007, the introduction of AutoCAD Civil 3D, a dynamic analysis tool that drastically changed civil engineering design workflows. And in the late 2000s, AutoCAD began integrating more comprehensive 3D tools and improved customization, keeping pace with the growing demand for complex and precise modeling. On 2010, there was cloud integration and mobile accessibility. In 2010, AutoCAD also created AutoCAD for Mac, was reintroduced, catering for the preferences of designers and architects using Mac OS. 2012, introduction of AutoCAD WS, a mobile app that allowed users to view, edit, and share AutoCAD drawings for mobile devices. Throughout the decade, enhanced cloud collaboration features with the release of AutoCAD 360, enabling users to store, share, and view their documents in a cloud environment, facilitating remote work and collaboration. And then on the 2020, there was incorporation of machine learning and artificial intelligence to streamline tasks such as object recognition, drawing simplification, and predictive design. A lot of these features are just promises, and we still have to see them, but Autodesk has already made promises of AI integration with AutoCAD. In recent updates, there was focus on automation, better integration with other design tools, and sustainability driving design features. For sure, there's going to be a continual improvement in the user interface and experience, and who knows what else Autodesk is going to add to AutoCAD. But as you see, there's been a lot of progress since it started in 1982. And as you can see, AutoCAD broke new ground by democratizing design capabilities, making sophisticated drafting tools available directly to architects, engineers, and designers. This move not only captivated a massive market, but also laid the groundwork for countless innovations in design. Throughout its history, AutoCAD has continually adapted and expanded its capabilities to meet the evolving needs of designers and engineers across various industries, maintaining its status as a cornerstone in the field of CAD software. Going back a little bit to John, this beloved leader who all admired. John's leadership style was anything but ordinary. Known for his quirky and thoughtful approach, he often communicated with his team throughout extensive memos that blended philosophy, company policy, and humor. These communications, especially the Autodesk file, which I truly recommend you, became legendary with the company embodying the unique culture John fostered at Autodesk. For the listeners who don't know this, the Autodesk file is an author-compiled book on Autodesk's first days, and everyone can find this on the Formulab website. This is one of the many books John wrote and compiled on his website. In 1984, at the height of his career, John Walker chose a path less traveled. He stepped down from Autodesk, seeking to explore new horizons and dedicated time to his personal passions, such as health, longevity, and technology forecasting. His early retirement is a testament to his philosophy that life should be rich with exploration and learning. Could you imagine this? You have created a software that at a company that came to disrupt the whole construction industry and you just live in your early days because you feel you want to expand your horizons and keep working on other things. I feel this is a great lesson. Like, you need to follow your gut instinct and do what you think is right for you instead of keep pushing. I don't know. I wish John could be here with that so we could ask questions about how was it to do that. But for me, this is a really cool lesson for many entrepreneurs out there. And even after leaving Autodesk, John continued to influence the tech world throughout his writings and predictions. Many of his forecasts about 3D printing, virtual reality, and the role of software in our daily lives have come to fruition. Today, his legacy is not only in the software that Autodesk continues to develop, but in the forward-thinking impact of his visions that reach far beyond his immediate industry. Also, John was a philanthropist. After his retirement, he didn't slow down. He put a lot of efforts in philanthropy and advocacy, focusing on the support of scientific research and educational programs that push the boundaries of technology and innovation. Through all these initiatives, he continued to shape the future of the industry, pretty much like what he did with Autodesk. In conclusion, John's history is one of innovation, foresight, and unconventional wisdom. From revolutionizing how we design the buildings, machines, and technology of tomorrow, to inspiring a culture of creativity and curiosity, John remains as a towering figure in the narrative of modern technology. Thanks for everything you did for our industry, John. You basically laid the foundations for everything that everybody's doing on the technology side of the AEC. So rest well that there are many disciples of you who are working hard on keep improving this industry. I hope everybody liked this episode and you got to know a little bit more about one of the founders or fathers of our industry. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did and you learned a little bit more about one of the greatest heroes our industry has ever had. See you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks to our listeners. If you like this content, you can find past and upcoming episodes in aecworks.everse.com and at all of our Everse social media. We'd love to hear from you and recommendations for new content, so leave us a DM and we'll make sure to catch it.